Hey, welcome for this first little thing to see how things work out with this new filming stuff. What we're going to be doing is working on extracting Vacuform pieces. Let's see if I can get a good example real quick here. So this is an example of a Vacuform C sheet. This is a 1/72 scale. For those interested, the Ska-Ra SCH-2, it's a Russian amphibious plane, very small. But quite the plane in Russia. You can see it's all on a sheet, and it has to be pulled off of this thing. There's two parts to that. One is just cutting roughly the shape out. The second part is taking the width of this base off. So if you left that on, you would extend the width of these things. They weren't meant to have that width, so you have to totally remove the plate. So first of all, though, the answer is to get it out. So in this case, the plate for the base area is actually almost 1/16 of an inch thick. It's quite that big, thick. Doesn't mean necessarily that you have to cut all the way through it, but a good set of knives are good for this endeavor. And you can literally go ahead, I make 3 passes. Third pass doesn't have to require the ruler. And then it snaps off. And you iteratively follow this all the way around. Sometimes on shapes like this part, for part of it, I can go ahead and freehand it. The goal is to get about 30 seconds of an inch trim around the whole side. And the reason why you'll have it is another part I will have. But when you take wet and dry sandpaper and you basically put this down and you start sanding it on the sandpaper, you will start taking the base plate off. When do you know you're done? Well, when that 30 seconds trim, you'll see will start peeling away and separating from the form. Then you know when you reach the exact level. So once you sand it away, this is flat, its mating surface is flat. Then when you put the two pieces together, it will be to scale, correct as the builder envisioned it, and basically no seam because of the perfect flat, and you'll be able to get it done. But I'm just going to continue and get this one tail section. This is a lot different than if you're going to do an injection molding kit, obviously, because with an injection molding kit, you just got to separate it from its sprue, and you essentially have the part. For this, there's more work. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just a different thing. And this is old. The cost to produce a raw model for this is much less. It was really considered a cottage industry in the 80s and in the 90s in the US. And you particularly find these nowadays in Eastern Europe because, again, the cost of what you have to tool is minimal and it can be done in the basement. In fact, this kit, this is a Wings Ki-10 known as the Perry. It was the last Japanese biplane fighter they made after World War I, before World War II. This was made by a company called Wings, which was actually made about 20 minutes from where I sit right now in a guy's basement. So he made quite a few kits. I got his whole catalog, and I'm really starting to think that I might focus my theme of my Vacuform builds for however long they do last will be on the Wings kits. So you can see this is coming along pretty nicely. I'll have a refinement. I don't have to cut the whole thing off because I will go ahead and do this. There's this piece. Then you get sandpaper and you can see that there's still like a bit of a nub. It sands, it's just now you're getting plastic dust. When I'm doing this freehand, a lot of times I use a block. But this saves the wet dry sandpaper process, cleaning from that. So you can see now I have one of these done out. Here's the other, here's mating surface. And if you look real close, I don't know if it's coming up on the camera, but there's a series of pieces with X's on those areas. That means that's cut away. In the plane itself, when you look, These are the rear tail sections. So one piece affixes to here, and one piece affixes to here. It doesn't go through the plane, it actually connects, and you have to make it connect there through a metal rod and some things. However, at this point in time, you do not want to separate it because, one, when I talked about that sandpaper process, it gives you more to hang on to while you're doing it, and it also makes sure you don't bevel. The more you have, the less chance of it beveling. So you get a really nice flat piece. And again, all you're looking for is this very small area where it just turns, and so it stays nice, crisp, and thin and complete. Trying to see if I have, I'll have to dig out. I have the catalog for the, oh, here it is. So when you talk wings, so here's the wings, the Complete Wings Air Force. These are 1/48. And then in the catalog, you have a bunch of 1/72. And so I'm going to be looking at cataloging those and seeing what I can do. So I'm going to continue with this. I'm almost done. The propeller I'm going to leave in this state for later for safety. I still have the propeller hub and a seat for the pilot. And the 4-piece wheels, 2 for each. I can do those at my leisure. I do have a clear-cut canopy that I'll do once the fuselage is glued together, so I can make sure it matches and works well on that stuff. So other than that, 2 upper wings, 2 lower wings, again with the X's saying that these separate. The upper wings are held strictly on by struts. There is no physical connection to the fuselage, so it's going to be interesting getting that all squared away and lined up. 2 fuselage halves. This piece goes underneath once I cut away this. Again, it's being retained for strength while it sands, but this is essentially the bottom of the aircraft to fill in that void. And the tail. Minimal pieces, but the craftsmanship that you can put into it will be big. So I hope to expound on that later. I hope you enjoyed it, and that's about it.